I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're light-skinned or dark-skinned. It doesn't even matter if you're my family, friends, or my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me, like my YouTube channels, or like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I greet all of you the same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Tonight happened to be Saturday, March the 21st, 2020, about 9:07 p.m. 2020 is the year of the vision. See, I can see good with these, but you know, mine is not like my youngest daughter. The doctor says she has 20/20 vision, perfect vision. Tonight, what I want to say is I told you all that me and my two youngest daughters and my dad, we was making a trip up to Indiana to say for my two youngest daughters to say their final goodbyes to their mom. May she rest in peace. They have two brothers and another sister by their mom, and they haven't seen each other in a while. There was a little conflict with some of the family, and when we got to the funeral home, God changed it all around. First, I want to thank my niece, Sharika Fizel, for coming with me and my two daughters and my dad to pay their respects, for my daughters and them to pay their respects to their mother. I also want to thank my cousin, Tina Watson, for showing up, supporting my two daughters as they grieve the death of their mother. I want to thank my homie, JB, Ali Chambers, for coming to help my daughter and them, support them for the loss of their mother. I want to also thank my homie, Dwight Taylor, for coming to support my two daughters as they grieve their mother. I would even want to thank my daughters and them oldest aunt on my daughters and them mother's side, and my two youngest daughters' oldest sister on their mother's side, who we wasn't seeing eye to eye. But God turned that whole thing around. God allowed all of us to embrace. God allowed each and every one of us to show each other respect. Everything went well. I respected their wishes. They respected mine. I also want to thank my two youngest daughters' uncle, their mother's brother, for being a mediator and a peacemaker. And I thank him for blessing me and my two daughters and my dad financially and moral support on this trip. I want to say this here. I was going to go up there with a negative thoughts, negative mind for my niece, Sharika, and my friend, a special friend of mine, LaDonna Hendricks. They told me what I would tell my daughters now. Let's not think of something happening negative. You teaches us that God can change anything, and He did. My daughters and them got chance to see just about all their mothers, uncles, which was their great uncles, their aunts, which is their great aunts, their cousins, and there was much love inside of this place. It was much love. The oldest sister, who we haven't seen eye to eye, we hugged, told each other we love each other. I know I was honest. She could have been. I can't say she wasn't. But her husband was there. And my niece and a few other people, my homie that live in Indiana, we noticed something about her husband. He was antisociable. He was all the way in the corner, by himself, dictating at times, hollering up, telling people to leave certain people alone. I even shook his hand. And my oldest daughter that stays down there with me, she told me that her auntie, who she wasn't talking to at first, wanted them to come to their house. They got a big house, live in a nice suburb, 5-bedroom, a basement. And the aunt keeps their oldest sister, their older brother on the mother's side, and their younger brother. And the older sister on their mother's side, which we wasn't talking, and her and my oldest daughter had clashed before we came up here to see their mother off, all of them was showing love. And she came to me and said, is y'all coming to the house? See, for years, I've never been invited to the house because of the older sister and the husband said I wasn't allowed in there, which when I'm not allowed someplace, I don't let my daughters and them go, because I look at it, if something happened to my daughters and them in there and they don't like what's going on, I'm not there to protect them. But anyway, we went to the house, which is not too far from the hotel that we're staying in, and we got there and we was met by one of the family members who asked me to come out to truck because they wanted to talk to me. One of the family members that's always respected me and I always respected them, and they always been a peacemaker like they was for this homegoing of my two youngest daughters' mother. Now you would think that my two daughters haven't seen their brothers, their cousins, their sister, aunties, grandmothers, them in years, some of them for years. You would think everybody would be on one page. But the family member came and told me, which I tell my daughters and them everything, they 13 and 14. They said the sister's husband said he didn't want me in the house. But the sister texted my oldest daughter on my daughter that's down there that live with me, text her and gave her the address, and the older sister of my two daughters invited me and my daughters and my dad. I'm traveling around with a 92-year-old dad with dementia. If I knew there was going to be a rejection, I wouldn't have drove down there or up there to go let them have a repast with their brothers and sisters and their cousins. But he said that the sister's husband said he didn't want me in there. And I told him no problem at all. But I said my daughters is not going in there. I wouldn't even have to say it. My daughters wouldn't go because we have respect for each other. That's just like a female tell me that I'm cool with you, but I'm not cool with your daughters. She can never be cool with me if she's not cool with my daughters. And my daughters and them look at it the same way. I don't care if you are my auntie. Your husband never treated us like his nieces. He never gave us anything for our birthdays. He never showed us any type of love. He didn't even greet us at the funeral home. He was the only one at the funeral home didn't greet my daughters. But I went and shook his hand. And I could tell when he shook my hand, he was squeezing it real hard, not of love, but I squeezed it right back to him. I'm probably 20, almost 30 years older than him, but I let him know, eye to eye, peace be still. But you see, that hurt my daughters and them, and I know it hurt their brothers and sisters and cousins. Because the same individual that didn't want me in there, his son just a few minutes ago called my youngest daughter here, the 13-year-old, and wanted to talk to him. See, he's not on the same level as his father, and he ain't but 9 years old. He know my daughters as his cousin. And my daughter's and little brother, he know it's love. But I look at it like this here. If the sister told my 14-year-old for us to come over to her house, she know that they're not coming by themselves. And the oldest daughter, 19 going on 20, asked me, can we come over there? I know they had to know by now we didn't show up. They should have called and asked, why did we show up? You see what I'm saying? Since they didn't call and ask why we didn't show up, I'm sure they was on the same page as the oldest sister's husband. But you see, you don't hurt me. You follow what I'm saying? Even though it hurt my two youngest daughters, my 13 and 14-year-old daughter, but they know how some of you all been doing them all their lives. Some of you same ones that don't want me in your house is the same ones that broke up me and their mother marriage. You see what I'm saying? When you couldn't worry about your own marriage, you don't want me in your house, but when my kid's mother is down south with me, you all study trying to make her feel bad to come back up here to her other three children that y'all didn't even want to let her see. That y'all teach them that you, their father, and you ain't even their blood. That your wife is their mother, which is she their aunt. And my daughters and them who passed away, you have her children called her aunt and called my two children's, her other three children's, which is their brothers and sisters, called them cousins. You see, you make your own self look little. You don't make me look little. It bothers me because you hurt my daughters, but my daughters and them believe in God. You see, you and anybody else that did my daughters and them like that, keeping them away from their siblings, you have to answer to God one day. I'm going to leave like this here. My daughter's going to always be all right. That 5-bedroom house, that basement, if God take your life today, you can't take it to the graveyard with you. It was people from Burger King's out of Indiana that my two youngest daughters' mother was their manager. Let me show you what they gave my daughters. Can you see that real good? They gave their mother is here, and probably a couple more places. These are the people that she managed at Burger King. They took these off of their backs and gave them to my two young daughters. They didn't act like my two young daughters' auntie's husband. You see, they played a role in there like how they love each other, but them people at Burger King wouldn't believe that they told my two youngest daughters that your daddy can't come in, but y'all can. Wherever I'm not welcome, they're not welcome. Wherever they're not welcome, I'm not welcome. We're a family. You see, my mama and daddy didn't raise us like that, but I'm going to leave it like this here. My daughters and them will always be loved. And I appreciate all the family on my daughters and them mother's side that show love. But I'm going to tell you, we ain't going to never mend this here again because we done did it all we can. But I'm allowing my daughters and them communicate with their brothers and sisters. But the individual that told me that we couldn't come in, even with your wife, if she was their auntie, she would have told you, you ain't going to stop my two nieces from seeing their siblings, but you didn't. Peace, be still.